Guys, it's Robin from livingthesimpleLifeNow.com, and it's time for another Motivational Monday. Are you excited? It's Monday, yay! I was thinking today about perspective and how life is kind of about perspective. I had some stuff happen over the end of last week that kind of made me think about this and how my perspective affects things. It kind of goes back to the proverbial glass half full, half empty. Is your glass half full, or do you see your glass half empty? My son has a rare health condition, and it's nothing life-threatening, but for the last 2 years, he has had terrible stomach aches and hasn't gained weight. He's 9 now, and we have gone through pediatricians, specialists. Now we've switched to a different health system. We're lucky to be near the University of Michigan Children's Hospital, which is a research hospital. And they have people that just specialize in things that, not many people in the country specialize in. So we switched him from the system that we had been in, which was a little more local, and we're about an hour from the University of Michigan. And this was our second trip this past Friday. And I'm always a little bit nervous before we go because I don't like anything being wrong with my baby, and I want to figure out what's wrong with him, and I want to fix him, and it's been going on so long. But I had the same experience this time that I had last time. I walked in there, and yes, my child has a health problem. We wouldn't be in there if he didn't. But there are children. The first time we were there was a boy sitting there that was bald and obviously had cancer. And I was so thankful that my son did not have cancer. And this time, as we were checking out, I saw a little boy, and he was disfigured. I have no idea what was wrong with him. And he was in a wheelchair, so he probably couldn't walk. But he looked happy. And it just reminded me, the doctor appointment for us didn't go as well as I had hoped, but to walk out and be checking out and see that reminded me how lucky we are. And it's all about the perspective that I look at it. Compared to the normal kids in his class, no, he's not, just like them. But when you go to the University of Michigan Children's Hospital, he's in a lot better shape than most of those kids. So it's all about perspective. And as we were leaving, there was a teenager that actually I think was going to hold the door open for us, but we held the door open for him. He was missing a leg and he was on crutches. But he had a big smile on his face. And it just again reminded me that it's about perspective in life. My husband is the eternal optimist, and I have always kind of been a pessimist, and I call myself a reforming pessimist now. We've been through some very difficult times in the last couple of years, namely the death of his mother. She lived here, and I took care of her, and I took her death very hard. Obviously, my husband took her death very hard, but he bounced back much quicker than I did. And it showed me the difference between pessimism and optimism. He was always to be thinking of something positive. He planned a vacation. We did different things to keep our mind off of it. But my pessimistic mind just kept going back to the loss. And I started actually studying how our brain works. I have a little background in psychology and social work, so this stuff fascinates me. And it comes to find out, first of all, being a pessimist is a little bit more normal than being an optimist, especially as optimistic as my husband, but I'm still envious of his demeanor. But when you're pessimistic, your brain is holding on to information, negative information, because it thinks, I may need to learn from this later. This is something I need to remember. This is something bad that happened. I don't want it to happen again, so I need to learn from it. And so it holds on to that information. When something positive happens to us, very easily our brain can just go, whoop, and we just miss it. And while it's a good function for us to have in there, for us to have that ability to learn from bad things and remember them more, really in the overall scheme of life, it's not a good thing. But you can retrain your brain, and that's kind of the lesson that I've learned, and I try to teach that over at livingthesimpleLifeNow.com, of how you can have a positive perspective. Um, you know, something bad happens, your brain holds on to it. But you can force yourself to take perspective and to really embrace that moment when something good happens. Just like we stop when something bad happens, you can stop when something good happens and really just stop and think about it. And think, this is a good thing. Just like I stopped and thought about, my son doesn't have this or my son doesn't have that. Um, we can stop and think about those things. And those are things that I've been trying, not just with my son, but, there's everyday annoyances that just get on our nerves, and we can let it get under our skin and get cranky about it. Or we can just look for the positive. And when you find that positive, just stop and embrace it and notice it for what it is. And don't let your brain grab onto that negative stuff and just hold on to it. Make sure that your brain, and you're going to have to make a conscious effort to do this, make sure that your brain is holding onto that positive stuff and you're on the lookout for it. So that's the message I want to leave you with this week, is about perspective. And what is your perspective? Do you hold on to the bad things? Are you looking for the bad things? Or are you looking for the good things in life? And just to encourage you that you really can embrace the positive. It's just a matter of disciplining your mind to do it. So I hope you guys have a great week. I hope you have a great perspective on your week. And I will see you next week. This is Robin from livingthesimpleLifeNow.com. Bye.